So having handled security to a certain extent, we'll quickly take a peek into the cloud to on-premise connectors. So these are new breed of middleware technologies which enables on-premise applications to talk to the cloud-based systems. So this kind of communication is possible using an enterprise integration gateway or an ESB as well. So basically, the cloud to on-premise connectors have certain capabilities beyond an ESP, a traditional ESP can offer. So some of the benefits or some of the features here cloud to on-premise connector can offer you is some monetization features of web API. So sometimes organization needs to expose their API for their business partners or for their consumers or for their customers to consume. So in certain cases, they need to monetize the API. So products like IBM Castellan, has monetization features, which enable them to, charge an API usage per transaction. And cloud-based connectors have out-of-the-box, cloud-based adapters. With cloud-based adapters, you can talk to different clouds. So you get the adapters ready-made and built in. And cloud on-premise connectors have rich integration with social media. And it has rich data synchronization features. Whenever you want to upload data to your SaaS provider or download data from your SaaS provider to your data warehouse, cloud to on-premise connectors have such kind of an ability. And also, deployment flexibility exists in terms of where to deploy these connectors. It can either be on cloud or be on-premise. So some of the popular products in this space are IBM Castellan, Jitterbit, and CloudHub. Also, it's kind of debatable whether you need a cloud to on-premise connector or an existing ESP can solve the problem. It depends, and I'm going to leave the debate open, but certainly cloud to on-premise connectors can augment the ESB functionality. So we already know that if somebody needs features like monetization or cloud-based integration, these features needs to be kind of custom built using a traditional ESB. Okay, so now let's quickly explore a runtime architecture of having a BPM solution in the cloud. So this is an animated slide. I'm going to go a little slow because of the rendering. So let's again go back to our fictional example, the Bank of Netherlands, and let's consider a situation. So let's say the Bank of Netherlands has some in-house applications. So these in-house applications can range from legacy, mid-range, distributed ERPs, or to the latest platforms like Jive or Hammer. So the Bank of Netherlands, has a lot of interaction with external systems, not as the business partner systems, like investment banks, security firms, and background check processing applications. So the interaction to the external world happens via an enterprise integration gateway, or it can be termed as an ESP as well. So all the communication, all data communication that's going out of the Bank of Netherlands and coming into is governed by the enterprise integration gateway, and the enterprise integration gateway acts as a security policy enforcement point by integrating with the corporate LDAP. An extract transform load batch process pulls the data from the in-house application and loads it into the data warehouse, wherein the data warehouse will produce the reports for the CIO office. So to sum up, basically a traditional IT shop will look like this. The traditional IT landscape will look like this. So let's see how this landscape gets impacted with a BPM on cloud solution. Okay, let's say the Bank of Netherlands decides to have a BPM based have a cloud-based BPM solution. So as we have already seen, cloud to on-premise connector augments the traditional enterprise integration gateway. And we also know that in terms of deployment, flexibility exists in terms of where the cloud to on-premise connector can reside in cloud or can reside on-premise as well. So now the cloud will act as a single enforcement point for all data communications that is going out of the enterprise to the cloud-based system. So it's not necessary that a cloud to on-premise connector need to act as a security policy enforcement point. It can offload such tasks to the enterprise integration gateway. So in fact, in modern architectures, it's not the enterprise integration gateway which takes care of security. It will be offloaded to a identity manager like Devotee. But that's beyond the scope of this particular presentation. So the point of having a cloud to on-premise connector, is that it would act as a hub for various communications from the on-premise systems to the cloud-based systems, and also this applies to the SaaS-based applications. So again, a BPM system on cloud itself can orchestrate to different SaaS-based applications by interacting from its cloud to another cloud. So now we know the discussion takes to another level. What would be the asset of an organization? So data is definitely an asset, but these are increasing application. So will integration be an asset to an organization? I pretty much guess so. So it's always recommended to have all the integration touch points in one place. So basically, it's having a hub and spoke architecture within the cloud integration. You have your integration logic embedded in one place, so that when an organization wants to move the BPM architecture from one cloud to another cloud, they really story about the integration logic. Or in case if somebody wants to replace a SaaS-based application with another SaaS-based application, it's going to be very minimal work with having all the integration logic in one place. So finally, the extract, transform, load batch will also pull data from the BPM cloud, and and it will feed into the data warehouse. So this is a topology for for having a BPM solution in the cloud. So let us quickly see another example wherein having a BPM solution on premise and how it can integrate with various SaaS-based applications. So it's just an extension of the previous example. The BPMS system orchestrates with ESB, and it talks to the external world outside its firewall using the enterprise integration gateway. We have seen about the cloud to on-premise connector, and it augments the ESB. So henceforth, we will always use the cloud integration gateway or the cloud on-premise connector. There's also a new breed of SaaS-based applications called business process service that is kind of coming into picture now. So the business process service itself can automate and orchestrate a lot of industry-level processes. And in some cases, a BPMS system can offload its process activity to a process service provider too. And even that interaction happens via a cloud gateway. So we'll quickly see what this processes service provider can actually achieve. So some of the common BPAS characteristics, or simply process service characteristics, are process service provider sits on top of the SaaS and the platform as service and the infrastructure as service. And a process service must be highly configurable. So a process needs to be customized according to the needs and demands of an organization. So it needs to be configurable. So imagine a payroll processing application, running in a process service provider. So it needs to be configurable according to the payroll rules of a particular organization. And also it must have well-defined APIs, because a business process itself needs to connect to different systems. And also it must support massive scaling. And this is from a perspective of the process provider standpoint, because it needs to service multiple customers, and since they stand on top of platform as service and infrastructure as service, they should be able to support this kind of scaling. So some of the examples of process service providers are, from IBM, it's Clinical Development Panorama and Intelligent Back Office. So by the time we are watching this presentation, there will be a ton of other process service providers. So the industry is kind of maturing towards process service. So I'm just, quickly wrapping up this presentation. So we have seen the various dimensions of a BPM solution on cloud. So with these various aspects, still the threat to migration towards cloud remains the same in terms of cloud availability, data security, and network latency. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you got some information out of it. So feel free to send in your feedback and views. I have my email ID listed down here. And also as part of the Osmosis webinar series, there's an upcoming presentation from Mindtree 8 BPM practice known as the multi-channel enablement through BPM way. So I highly encourage you to participate in this presentation as well. So once again, thanks for joining this presentation. So now I'll just go over the questions and answer as much as possible.
Thank you so much, Prasanna, and you will find the questions in your questions window now. So far I have assigned around 6 or 7. I'm going to keep sending more questions as they come to me.
Okay, sure. Okay, the first question is from Newswire.